I don't know. Now, can we have Rebecca on the food system dashboard?
Let me start sharing my screen. Hi, my name is Rebecca McLaren. I am at GAIN and I am the one of the global coordinators for the Food Systems Dashboard. And I'm joined today by Dr. Olutayo Adeyemi, who's from the Nigeria Food Systems Dashboard. So I'll be giving just a quick presentation overview and tour of the global food systems dashboard and then handing it over to her to give more details on the Nigeria Food Systems Dashboard. So to start with, what is the Food Systems Dashboard? It is a joint initiative run by GAIN, the Columbia Climate School, and FAO. It was launched in 2020, and it's organized along three pillars: describe, diagnose, and decide. And the first, describe, is the data. The Food Systems Dashboard has almost 300 indicators from over 40 sources that can all be viewed on the site. And I'll show you that in more detail in this presentation, and as well as they can be downloaded and worked with individually as well. The second pillar, diagnose, is the food systems diagnostics that the team developed that are available on the country profiles for each country. This is 39 diagnostic indicators that are characterized as being either in the red, yellow, or green. And the third, decide, is the policies and action section on the dashboard. And this allows users to see evidence-based actions that are focused on diets and nutrition or environmental sustainability. So the Food Systems Dashboard is organized along this framework shown here, which shows the drivers and components of food systems. The components include food supply chains, food environments, and individual factors. And then the outcomes, food security and diets, and impacts, which are focused on nutrition and health, environment, and livelihoods. And a new sector that's been added in line with what Kate just presented, the Food Systems Countdown Initiative work, is cross-cutting issues, which includes subsectors of governance and resilience. And all of the subsectors you can see on this slide as well, underneath each of the larger sector areas. And this is, you can see how the indicators on the site are organized, how many are in each area. So you can see it really ranges from 13 indicators in the cross-cutting issues sector, up to 61 indicators in food environments across all of these different subsectors of food availability, affordability, product properties and vendor properties, food messaging, and food safety, and up to 104 in the outcomes area. So now I'm going to give just a really quick tour of the global data section, which is where you would be able to view and work with all of those indicators. So the first view you can see all of the indicators on a map view. You can either search for indicators specifically by typing them into the search bar, or look at all the indicators available through the menu, which is organized along those sectors and subsectors shown in that framework. You can filter the data, which allows you to look at countries based on food system type, which is a typology that was developed by the Food Systems Dashboard team, by income classification. Or you can also filter the data if it's disaggregated data is available based on either urban and rural or by gender. You can look at the data in different years by selecting the year or clicking the play button, which will show you how the data changes over time in the map view. Each indicator has metadata that the Food Systems Dashboard team has prepared, which includes the source where the indicator is coming from, a definition and relevance, talking about why it's important for food systems, why we've chosen to include it in the Food Systems Dashboard. And so the data can also be downloaded so that you can have a CSV to work with the data for further analysis. You can view data in a graph view where you can select regions and countries to add to create customizable graphs, and see the time trend if multiple years are selected when available. There's also a table view to view as well. Now looking quickly at the country profiles, which are available on the dashboard, these have a smaller number of indicators, around 50, that have been selected by the Food Systems Dashboard team. And these allow you to compare with regional and global averages, view the diagnostics, And this page can be easily downloaded or printed. And when available, there is a subnational country dashboard, as is the case for Nigeria, which we'll show you later in this presentation. So here you can see how you can make comparisons with the regional value and the global value. So looking at the country profile, comparing with West Africa and the world. And you can see the diagnostics here. So these are the 39 diagnostic indicators. This food systems dashboard team has set thresholds for these to indicate if it's a likely challenge area in the red, a potential challenge area in the yellow, or an unlikely challenge area in the green. And these, when available, are based on globally agreed upon thresholds or recommendations, or in most cases, when these weren't available, they are based on the distribution of the data. And this publication listed here shows you can be viewed for more details on the methods behind this. And here you can see on the country profile, when you're viewing these diagnostics, you can view where these thresholds sit to see where the country as well as the region and world are doing compared to these thresholds. In the last section on the global dashboard, the policies and actions section, this is where you can see around 80 actions, almost 90 actions that are focused on diets and nutrition and environmental sustainability. And these are taken from major international evidence-based expert reports. And one key is that these are very generic and just a starting off point. So that it would be important to consider these in the local context, according to what's already being done, what local priorities are. But the thought was that these would be an important starting off point of things that could be considered. So that was a really quick whirlwind of a tour of the global dashboard. Now I can pass it on for the Nigeria Food Systems Dashboard.
Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Depending on where you're joining from, or good evening. So I'll just share my slides and continue from where Rebecca stopped. Okay, so to continue from where Rebecca stopped, the idea behind a national food systems dashboard is because in the case of Nigeria, Nigeria has 36 states and 1 federal capital territory. And based on existing data, we know that the national average doesn't really say much about any part of the country. You have some countries that are at one extreme, and I mean some states that are at one extreme, and you have other states that are at another extreme. And when the global dashboard was launched, we had stakeholders tell us that, but we can't make any decision based on this because we act at state level, we act at the local government level, and this is just one average. And so the idea was better to have a subnational food systems dashboard that would describe the food system in each state as well as federal capital territory. And so with support from the global food systems dashboard team, including GAIN and other stakeholders, Nigeria has developed a subnational food systems dashboard that can be accessed through the global dashboard. And so if you go to the page on Nigeria that Rebecca had shown, you can actually see the place where you can click on the subnational dashboard, and then it takes you to this page where you have the country data, and you can click on state profiles to see the food systems profiles for each state. And unlike the global dashboard, where if you look at the country profiles, it's just a subset of the indicators. For the state profiles for Nigeria, all the indicators we have on the dashboard can be viewed for all states on the subnational dashboard. And then like the global dashboard, we also have the diagnose feature where it diagnoses states on different criteria. Right now, it's the same criteria as the global dashboard. And so you can see how a state is performing in different aspects of the food system. And this is when you go to the state profile. You click on a state, and then the page that describes the indicators in the states will provide the diagnosis for that state as well. And for the country profile right now, we have 99 indicators. We have indicators across all the components of the food system. The cross-cutting issues is the one where we have just one indicator but we are working with the global dashboard team to identify additional indicators. I'll just say now that not all the indicators on the country dashboard are exactly the same as what is on the global dashboard. In certain instances, we don't have some national level data for some indicators, but we have other indicators where there's data available at subnational level, and the indicators provide similar information to what is being addressed on the global dashboard. Then there's a technical team that reviews it and then approves whether or not it should go on the dashboard. So we have the 99 indicators, and we are working to increase this to cover more components and subcomponents. So it's just for people who are interested. So the process by which Nigeria developed the country food systems dashboard was first to assess the feasibility. So when we said, oh, it's a good idea to have a subnational food systems dashboard, the first question people asked was that, is there data available? Because the dashboard doesn't collect data, it uses existing data. And so the first step was to obtain the list of indicators on the global dashboard, and then see if there was a significant number of indicators for which we could find data at subnational levels. And so once we had demonstrated that we did have a lot of data that could be included on a subnational dashboard, a stakeholder advisory group was set up, including stakeholders from key organizations expected to be involved in the development and the management of the dashboard. So the stakeholder advisory group is led by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and GAIN, Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. But other top actors there are the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and the National Bureau of Statistics. And then we have private sector, the Nigeria Governors Forum, and the UN agencies, WFP and FAO, at the country level. And so this stakeholder advisory group ensures that the dashboard is aligned with government priorities. The Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning has adopted the dashboard as a monitoring tool for food systems transformation. And the Nigeria Governors Forum is also using some of the indicators on the dashboard to assess the performance of states on transforming their food systems. And so to ensure that the dashboard is able to perform these roles, the stakeholder advisory group periodically meets to see what's there, what's missing, and how these gaps can be addressed. Another thing that was done was to mobilize buy-in at state level and as well as federal level. So interviewing people to understand what they would expect from the dashboard. So at this point, the dashboard was already, there was a prototype which was shared with people for them to view. And then we asked them what they thought needed to be improved with the food systems dashboard. And then we incorporated all the feedback we received to develop like a further version of the dashboard. And then the dashboard was launched and with all the expected users. And then we are now in the process of advocating for the use and also developing capacity. The long-term goal is that the dashboard will be completely managed by government institutions, and the National Bureau of Statistics has actually agreed to take the lead on ensuring that data on the dashboard is updated and bringing stakeholders together to contribute to the dashboard. In terms of data sources, key data sources we found were surveys from the National Bureau of Statistics, the Nigeria Demographic and Health Survey, the Agricultural Performance Survey, multiple indicator cluster survey, and a few other data sources that are publicly available. So we used only publicly available data sources. And some of the indicators, we could obtain them directly from the reports, but for additional indicators, we actually had to engage with experts who could analyze data to compute the indicators for us. So in terms of food environment indicators on the country dashboard, what we currently have is some of the indicators on on the global dashboard, but not all of them. Food availability particularly, we didn't have any indicator on the global dashboard that was available at the subnational level. And so what we did was to use the information on the agricultural performance survey with technical assistance from the global team to select production outputs for sentinel food items so that we could use this to proxy the relative availability of different food groups at a state level. And then for affordability, we partnered with the National Bureau of Statistics and the Food Prices for Nutrition project at Tufts University. And so the Food Prices for Nutrition project is helping us use routine data from the Bureau of Statistics to generate all the, or not all, almost nearly all the food affordability indicators on the global dashboard. And because it's using routine data, it's also, the food prices team is also teaching the Bureau of Statistics to compute these indicators on a routine basis. And since it's using routine data, it doesn't add, the additional burden really is in the time of the staff that will be working on it. And so it has been a sort of low-cost way to ensure that we have affordability indicators regularly updated. And then for product properties, vendor properties, food messaging, and food safety, we don't have any representative indicators at the subnational level that we can use. So one of the things we are doing is to map the indicators we need, as well as existing data sources, to see which indicators can be incorporated into existing data sources so that the indicators are incorporated into their questionnaire, and then we start collecting that data. And in the case where there's an inability to add indicators to existing surveys, maybe because of the burden or because the scope is completely different, we are talking with the government about having an additional survey just for the gaps, just for the indicator gaps, so not to assess all food system components. And so this is where we are at now to improve the availability of data on the food environment component. So in conclusion, the food systems dashboard is important for facilitating food systems transformation because it helps with transparency and accountability and bringing multi-sectoral stakeholders to the same page to have the same understanding of the situation about the food system. And in countries with wide variations in indicator at the subnational level, it's very important to have a subnational food systems dashboard to help more contextual decision-making. The same things that Kate mentioned about that the Food Systems Calendar Initiative found at global level is the same for within country. The actions are not the same for all states and all parts of the country, and it's important to recognize this and take it into account when making decisions. And for food environment indicators particularly, it can be obtained by leveraging on existing data and data sources. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca and Olutayo, for your wonderful contribution. And I think thanks to the audience for very fire-on question sessions.